Welcome back, and let's get it. Let's talk March Madness, right? 2 games. Saturday, we'll have the Final Four action. We get the first game within Auburn and the likes of Florida, as well as a little later tip within the Duke Blue Devils taking on the Houston Cougars. A little Sweet 16 rematch that we saw last year. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my input, my analysis, all that good stuff. And then, of course, the best bets that we will give on the channel. Got a little bonus play for you guys also within the Crown Tournament. I'm going to share with you guys a little later. But make sure you guys are all subscribed here on the channel. Completely free to do so. Really do appreciate you guys stopping by. All my returning subscribers. We talk Discord all the time. It is something that is fun to see grow. So I appreciate you guys all being part of the team here at TBM Sports. And let's get down into the best bets. We are going to be talking about these bets on OUTLIER. Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with OUTLIER, there's a 7-day free trial. Links down below in the description, amongst a few other resources and tools, and of course the free Discord. I hope you guys all hop on over there and sign up today. Okay, but we are going to talk about these games, and like I said, guys, the first game of the day, I'll get your blood boiling at a little 1:30 tip. We got Boise State taking on Nebraska in the Crown Tournament Championship. Now, this is a game where the Broncos come in 22-9 on the season. They were a team, quite frankly, I think they were 1 win away from getting into the tournament, the actual tournament. But, you know, I don't bet these NITs, CBIs a lot, okay, rule of thumb, but this is a clear mismatch in my opinion. And once you get to the tournament, that's kind of where, in my opinion, that the fact that you got snubbed does not matter anymore. The chip off the shoulder is gone. We're not talking about that, but this is just pure, hey, let's go win a game, win a trophy. This is human nature. This is what got these athletes here in the first place. And I think Boise State is the better team, albeit the Big Ten very much having great success in this tournament, in the overall tournaments. But I do think Boise State gets this one done. So I will lay it with the 1.5. 137 on the money line is a little too steep for me, but I do like Boise State in the spot. Okay, but we didn't come here to talk about Boise State, Crown tournaments, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Okay, we're going to light it up with some Final Four action. Okay, and the first game on the card we are going to talk about is the Florida Gators taking on the Auburn Tigers. Now, let's get really deep into this matchup because there's a lot of data points I want to share with you guys. Full disclosure, my bracket is busted. I would have came in first place if Michigan State would have won and Houston would have beat Duke today, and then Florida won it all. That would have set up for, I needed those three circumstances to happen, and if that did, I would have, the little simulator projector thing would have been first place, so damn it. But anyways, let's move on because we can make a ton of money this weekend, and we absolutely crushed the Elite Eight, so I'm really hoping that we do continue this mojo over from not just the Elite Eight, but also baseball. But the big storyline within that first game with Florida and Auburn, Johnny Broome, what's he going to do today? Okay, you know, I was admittedly wrong. You know, you got to understand something. He's a lefty, so shooting arm is kind of an issue as well. But this is the non-shooting arm, okay? So my problem with Johnny Broome is kind of the same problem why he's being selected to be late in the first round as a draft pick, okay? And I'm fine with all the smoke and mirrors, okay? My pick to win it all was Florida from day one. I'm going to stick with that pick, and I think that you get some potential value, but I do think that if Johnny Broome was not injured, this game would be closer to a pick'em. Quite frankly, I don't agree with it, to say the least. Okay, 1-0 on the season against Auburn, and I'm telling you guys, that game you could definitely tell who the better team was on the court, and albeit that was the Auburn Tigers losing to Florida, that with Johnny Broome healthy. I think that, you know, kind of iron sharpens iron. Whatever that, you know, old saying is, but that's kind of what I'm looking at this game. Florida has been tried and tested. They shouldn't be in this tournament, just being honest. They should be out. If you want to call a spade, Florida should not be around right now. You know, you could talk about the UConn game. You can talk about kind of the Texas Tech. And I know that was something where they could have won either way, but the second half, they just missed shots, okay? I think that in this spot, you're going to get a Florida-Auburn matchup where, quite frankly, I think despite Florida's coach being younger, I do trust him more in a big game. I think that comes down to this. You're going to look at the coaching more than the actual stats, numbers, a little bit more so. Okay, and I just don't see. And I know it's kind of that old mindset. You beat a team twice, it's hard to do. Yada yada yada. This is different. This is lifestyle. This is something these kids will remember for the rest of their lives. This isn't even sports betting for an extent, but I do think Florida's the correct side. Okay, I will lay them out up to 3. If you can find a cheap money line price, great. I would recommend that more so, but I just don't think that they're going to see the same kind of size that they saw with Michigan State. There's a reason why you look into that first matchup, okay, in Auburn, winning 90-81. I just don't quite frankly see this. Add into the mix, Mazzara, Baker Mazzara, he's a little bit volatile, okay? And same thing we saw with Michigan State. If Auburn goes dry from 3, it's going to be ugly. The same thing goes for Florida. And on a side note, I do expect this one to kind of be a little bit lower scoring, a little more half court. That's just my take. I'm not going to bet the total one way or another, but I would kind of lean towards the under if you force me to bet. Well, I think 160 might be a little bit too high. I know we got 90-81 or whatever it was that regular season matchup. This one's a little different. I think possessions are going to be a little bit more scarce and of a extreme value. So give me Florida up to 3. We'll take them at 2.5, whatever the best number is available on your screen. You can find actually 2s if you want it. Could be wrong. This is my pick, okay, and I'm gonna ride or die with it. I'm laying the 2 with Florida. You guys are welcome to do whatever you want to do. I had Auburn losing to Texas A&M early in the bracket as well. I just don't like this Auburn team. I don't like the handicap. I don't like anything else but Florida money in this game. Okay, simply put, I just don't see a way that Auburn wins this game. And the handicap, in my opinion, is coupled with the fact that their best player is on the mend. And don't get it twisted. These kids, these coaches have been preparing for that. Yes, he says he's 100%. I played down low. I know exactly how it's going to be. They're going to be grabbing at that arm. They're going to be bumping it on purpose. And Florida has some size, so I do expect him to struggle. And Johnny Broome has struggled against teams with people down low that do present some size advantage. So give me the Gators. We're laid up to 3, like I said, and a little bit of a lean towards the under, but I won't be playing it, okay? Next game, the one that everybody wants to talk about, the one that everybody cares about, this is the Houston Cougars taking on the Duke Blue Devils. And you have seeing it up on your screen. Outstanding season for both of these clubs. Like I said, I have Houston beating Duke in this matchup in my bracket. To go alongside Michigan State, Florida, and subsequently a Florida-Houston final. But that's something that's gone and busted because Michigan State decided to lose that game. But that's okay. The bets, you're able to hedge, and that's exactly why I get in those tournaments. But that's just kind of my situation. I'm sure a lot of you guys are live. But we will talk about this game because I think it is relevant for a numerous amount of reasons. All right, like I said, this is a rematch of the Sweet 16 clash that we saw last year. And you want to talk kind of about this Houston defense. Everybody wants to talk about the Houston defense, okay? The Duke Blue Devils, they're not too shabby themselves, okay? They are a top 5 defense. I think they're ranked a little bit kind of inflated. Me personally, I'm not going to doubt their players, their skill set, their NBA talent. We're not gonna go there, but I will say that the competition they've had to play against in the likes of the ACC this year, I think, is a significant drop off from what Houston sees day in and day out. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. I personally want to talk about a little bit of the cross opponents, if you will, a little overlap that we've gotten throughout the regular season. In the data point that I did find fairly interesting, okay, and that's going to be where we look into the Kansas spots, okay. Now, Kansas was 2 different teams. Kansas was one when we talk about kind of preseason rankings and all that stuff. So it's 2 different kind of seasons for them, okay. But you got to remember early on, Duke was handed a loss by Kansas, and I know those are 2 different teams, and Duke has grown into a team that's a behemoth at this point in time. But this is something where I do kind of want to point out that the Duke Blue Devils are averaging over 90 points a game in March. I think that's very relevant. However, I think the difference within this Houston club is I think that the big knock on them is they've never been able to shoot the three ball. This is a different club, all right? And if they can shoot with a glimmer of hope from the outside, and this isn't just some kind of back and forth, we're playing pig in the driveway between Duke and Houston, I don't think Calvin Sampson's going to let it get to that point. I think I think Houston is live in this game. I understood when I made my bracket, and the reason why I kept talking about it is because it still applies today, despite me being out. You have to kind of make your bracket with the handicaps of future games. And if I had a handicap Houston against Duke, that was a tough one, but I took Houston for a couple different reasons. All right. And now you're giving me 5.5 in this spot. It's almost like they're begging you to take the Houston Cougars. I'm not a big fan of taking points personally in big time ball games. If you're going to take the points, you're going to take the dog. Don't do that unless you think they can win. I think you're a fool if you think there's value saying, oh, well, Houston can only lose by 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 points. Like that. That's not what I would consider a great bet, okay? I'll take those 5.5 points if I believe Houston can win the damn game, and I think they can. This is something where you look into Cooper Flag. This is different. This isn't, this isn't the likes of Mount St. Mary's. It's not going to be a walkthrough, okay? The score might be lopsided. Don't get me wrong. Duke could blow out Houston. I just think that Houston's live, and I'll take the 5.5 just because I think that's not only value, like we talked about, but also because I think that Houston is different physically, okay? I know these kids are all NBA talents, great, whatever. I actually think this is one of the more physical Duke teams that we've ever seen from a competitive nature, so it's something different than physical strength, right? It's those 50-50 contested balls, hustle plays, on the ground, all that stuff. All that stuff plays a role, okay? We're getting away from that, preppy Grant Hill Duke Blue Devil team. I think John Shire has done a world of job. I think, with Krzyzewski out, it's almost like that's a whole new university. There's a lot more Duke love out there as I talk about this to you guys and stuff. A lot of people don't like Duke. They usually bet against them. I actually kind of root for Duke. Big fan of success. If you're going to be good for a long period of time, great. I'll ride with you. Kind of my thoughts on the New England Patriots, honestly. A lot of people hate Tom Brady, hate Bill Belichick. Hate's a very strong word. But you got to applaud greatness. And I think that's what we'll do here with the Duke Blue Devils. But I'm going to take the 5.5 with Houston. And also, when we talk about that game, and this is kind of where we get a little bit off script. If you guys want to play on the side, last year it was 54-51 in the Sweet 16, where we did see this contest between Duke and Houston. That's 105 points, okay? And we've been pretty spot on when we pulled that undercard out. If you do believe in Houston, one way, if you do want to bet it, kind of like little tepid action, you could just take the under, because I do think that correlates. If Houston is going to contest in this game and have a chance late, I do believe the under will cash. The under is rising to the over. We've moved up from 136.5 to 137.5. So I don't mind me some under in this spot. I know there's a lot of people on the over, but that also gives way to the conversation that Duke's going to score. I don't know. I just think this is something where it's going to be who gets punched in the mouth, and I think that I trust that Houston defense more so than the Duke Blue Devil defense. However, I will say one thing. Duke may not have to play defense if Houston can't make shots. So that's what it comes down to for me. But assuming that we do get the same numbers, we do get the same performance, and we do get Houston battling, I think that this is going to be a tough contest. It comes down to the wire. So give me the 5.5, and we will take the under within Houston and Duke, okay? So that's kind of like a correlating play. If you don't need to take them both, it's not a parlay. Just keep that in mind, but that's just kind of where I'm at within my bets and my handicaps. So that's it. Those are kind of my rundowns on the two games between the Final Four action, and a little bonus play from the Crown. I don't know if it's even an invitational. We'll just call it the Crown Tournament. Give me the Broncos of Boise State as well. So that's kind of where I'm at. My official plays, though, we're going Houston 5.5. Duke -2.5. The totals will not be official plays. And then also I'm going to lay it with Boise State. Take that minus, I believe it was -1.5 is the number that I got. -1.5 within the Broncos, -120. Okay, so that'll wrap it up. Good luck with your picks. Leave your picks down below in the comments. Let me know how you see these games playing out as well. I appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and enjoy it. You got 3 games left, and then college basketball is over. All right, peace.